Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. I hope everybody's having an awesome day, and I hope you guys are excited for the end of the week. Let's go ahead and just jump right in with what we're going to do today. So, our standard here says describe the relationship between a series of historical events, scientific ideas, or steps in a technical procedures in a text using language that pertains to time, sequence, and cause and effect. And remember, this week we're focusing on just the cause and effect part of this standard. Our essential question is, how can I describe historical/scientific events and their impact on other events? So what we're going to do today is we are going to watch a FlowCab video on cause and effect. We're going to review some vocabulary using the task cards or the FlowCab cards on FlowCabulary. We're going to do a few task cards to find the cause and effect of a given situation. We're going to read a passage called Frozen Deserts and fill out a graphic organizer while answering some questions. Actually, we're not going to fill out a graphic organizer. We're just going to answer some questions. And answers questions. And then finally, you're going to have a chance to do this on your own. You're going to be reading How Hail Happens, and you're going to be answering some questions. So our activating strategy is our FlowCab video. So let's go ahead and get started with our FlowCab video.
You can find causes and effects in all kinds of stories. And there are usually phrases that are clues to help you know what's a cause and what's an effect. Let me tell you a story, and I'll highlight some of those phrases along the way. But first, I need the hook, okay? Cause is the reason that something happened. But what comes next? We got this, Captain. The thing that happened is the effect. Cause and effect, they connect events. Cause is the reason that something happened. But what comes next? We got this, Captain. The thing that happened is the effect. Cause and effect, they connect events. Last night, Ella's mom forgot to feed the dog. Not feeding her dog is the cause. That's why the dog was hungry when he went to bed. Being hungry was the effect, but an effect can become a cause too. And in the morning, that came true. Due to the dog being hungry all night, he ate Ella's homework in one bite. Hunger's the cause. Eating homework is the effect. What happens next? You'll never guess. Ella's dog ate her worksheet. For this reason, Ella went to school really early to talk to her teacher and explain. She got there at 6:02 in the rain. She got to school so early for sure. Therefore, she saw what she never seen before. A bunch of people were dressed up like pickles. They did a dance while one played the fiddle. Since she saw that scene, she started laughing. That's the effect. And then what happened? Because she started laughing, the pickles hurt her and came out the door. Would they hurt her? Then Ella said, please don't hurt me, weird pickles. One said, why would we hurt you? It's simple. We're just your teachers, all dressed up. Want to be in a surprise pickle play with us? Causes and effects like dominoes. One thing leading to the next, that's how it goes. That's how Ella went in one day. From her homework eating to the lead in a play. Yeah, causes are with cause effects. It's how things connect. Now bring the hook back. Cause is the reason that something happened. But what comes next? We got this, Captain. The thing that happened is the effect. Cause and effect, they connect events. Cause is the reason that something happened. But what comes next? We got this, Captain. The thing that happened is the effect. Cause and effect, they connect events. Yeah. So keep your eyes open for the causes and effects in stories and in life. FlowCab. We at.
All right. So let's go over some vocab using these vocab cards. Let's talk about the word because. So because means that it's a reason that. So if I ask you, why were you late to school this morning? Someone might say, because I overslept. So the baseball game was canceled because of the rainstorm. Let's talk about cause. Cause is something that brings about a result. My finger was the cause of the dominoes falling over. So my finger was the cause of the dominoes falling over. It caused something to happen. Next, we have the word connect. So it's to join. Think about a puzzle. It joins two pieces. We were able to connect the last two pieces of the puzzle. Do because of or caused by. Stephanie was late due to her sister taking so long to get ready. So due is another cause. Effect is the result or consequence. The effect of knocking down one domino was that the rest of them fell down too. An event is something that happens. It's usually important. Our soccer team winning the game was an important event that happened last week. A reason is a cause or an explanation. Stella had a good reason for missing our lunch today. She was rescuing her cat that got stuck in a tree. Since, it's also the same as because. So I know how this novel is going to end since I've read it before. Or you could say, I know how this novel is going to end because I've read it before. Therefore, it's also a reason or as a result. There was a car accident blocking one lane of the highway. Therefore, the traffic was heavy. All right. Now let's go back to this, and we are going to be doing some cause and effect task cards, just like we did yesterday. So what I want you to do is after I read each of these, I want you to see if you can figure out the cause and the effect. So, since the day was warm, let's see if I can find a writing tool. Since the day was warm, the snake slithered out of the rock, out from under the rock and into the sunshine. Pause it and see if you can figure out the cause. What caused something to happen? All right. So the cause is that the day was warm. That caused something to happen. And the thing that happened is that the snake slithered out from under the rock into the sunshine. So because it was warm, the snake came out. Let's see if this does like the smart board. No. All right. This one says, the horse ran up to the fence so he could see the little girl who always brought him apples. So what was the cause? What is the cause in this task card? Why something happens. So why did the horse run up to the fence? The horse ran up to the fence because he wanted to see the little girl that always brings him apples. Then I could ask you, what is the effect of the little girl who always brings him apples showing up? He ran up to the fence. Next, the tiger was hungry because he hadn't eaten since breakfast. So what was the effect of not eating since breakfast? The effect of not eating since breakfast meant that the tiger was hungry. Or what was the cause of the tiger being hungry? What was the cause of his hunger? The cause of his hunger was that he hadn't eaten since breakfast. All right. Let's go to this frozen desert. So we're going to be reading this passage about the frozen desert, and then we're going to be answering some questions. So let's go back and read. From Frozen Deserts. Let's see if I can make myself smaller. There. In spite of our image of deserts, some are freezing cold and covered with ice and snow. Cold deserts exist all over the world. They are formed in Asia, Africa, and South America, China, and even the United States. The coldest place on Earth, Antarctica, is considered a desert. It gets very little snow or rain. When it snows, the snow never melts. Instead, it forms ice sheets that build up over time. This creates ice shelves and icebergs. It's too cold for plants. Only a few mosses and algae grow there, and people can't live there for long periods of time. Another frozen desert, the Gobi Desert, reaches from Mongolia to China. It's still expanding. The Gobi Desert is called a rain shadow desert. A large mountain range, the Himalayas, blocks the wet weather from reaching the area. Heavy winds whip through the Gobi Plains. That may explain why there's no sand there. Instead, the landscape is mostly bare rock with little plant life. Temperatures are extreme. It isn't covered in ice like Antarctica is, but the Gobi Desert can get as cold as 40 degrees Fahrenheit below zero in the winter. And in the summer, it can get as hot as 122 degrees Fahrenheit. Brr, it's the desert, but I'm freezing. So, we have some questions that we need to answer now. This says this question has two parts. Answer part A and then answer part B. So in Antarctica, why do sheets build up over time? So what is the cause of these sheets building up over time? Well, I'm going to go back and I'm going to underline and I'm going to skim the text. Skimming the text, we're going to look for some keywords. So looking back at our question, we are looking for why sheets build up over time, why ice sheets build up over time. So let's go back and see if we can figure out where ice sheets are. So I'm skimming, I'm spinning. I see the word ice sheets, and I see that build up over time. So I'm going to look around this particular sentence, and I'm going to read it. It says, when it snows, the ice never melts. Instead, it forms ice sheets that build up over time. So why do these ice sheets build up over time? Well, they build up over time because the ice never melts. Let's see if that's in our answer choices. Because Antarctica gets very little snow or rain. Because when it does snow, it doesn't melt. Because there are few plants to stop the ice from forming, or because there aren't enough people to break up the ice. Well, it even says in the text, because when it does snow, the ice never melts. So, part B, what are two other effects of the extreme cold in Antarctica? So, there are two effects of the extreme cold in Antarctica. The extreme cold is the cause. So, what else happens because of the extreme cold? Let's see if we can figure it out. What I want you to do is I want you to pause this video and I want you to skim the text and see if you can figure out the answers, the two effects of the extreme cold. And then when you come back, I am going to help you answer it. All right. So let's look at our answer choices. It says, what are the other two other effects of the extreme cold in Antarctica? Is it A, ice shelves and icebergs form? Well, if we go back in the text, we can find that in the text. That it says, another frozen desert. Actually, just kidding. This creates... Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. It says right here, I just saw it. We gotta look for our answer. All right. Where's the answer? Where's the answer? They are told in here. So it says cold deserts exist all over the world. They're found in Asia. They're found in all these places. The coldest place on Earth, Antarctica, is considered a desert. It gets very little snow or rain. When it snows, the snow never melts. Instead, it forms ice sheets that build up over time. This creates ice shelves and icebergs. There it was. I knew it was somewhere. It creates ice shelves and icebergs. Well, if we go back to the question, that's one of the answers. All right, I need to figure out how to get rid of this. Oh, I'm having some technical difficulties right now. There it goes. Oh my goodness. So it says ice shelves and icebergs form. Well, we found that explicitly in the text. So let's look at some other effects. The plants become tougher and stronger? Well, no, because if we go back in the text, it tells us specifically here that it's too cold for plants. So that can't be one of our answers. It snows all the time. When we go back here, it says that it gets very little snow or rain. So it can't snow all the time. So that can't be one of our answers. Is it D? Strong winds blow away any snow. Well, no, when we go back, it says that the strong winds whip through there, and that explains why it doesn't have sand. E, people can't stay there long. Well, when we go back, it says that the temperatures are extreme. It isn't covered in ice like Antarctica is, but the Gobi Desert can get as low as 40 below zero. In the summer, it can get as hot as 122 degrees. So that it says, this sentence here says, and people can't live there for long periods of time. So that is an effect. But remember, we have to read all of our answer choices. The last one says there is no snow. Well, that's not true because it does get snow sometimes. This last question, it says reread paragraph 3 and discuss with a partner what the Gobi Desert looks like. What is one possible reason that there is no snow in the Gobi Desert? So I'm going to pretend to be your partner. And this is paragraph 3. We're looking for a reason, a cause, for there being no sand in the desert. Let me reread it. Another frozen desert, the Gobi, reaches from Mongolia to China, and it's still expanding. The Gobi Desert is called the Rain Shadow Desert. A large mountain range, the Himalayas, blocks the wet weather from reaching the area. Heavy winds whip through the Gobi Plains. That may explain why there's no sand there. Instead, the landscape is mostly bare rock with little plant life. Temperatures are extreme. It isn't covered in ice like Antarctica is. But the Gobi Desert can get as cold as 40 degrees Fahrenheit below zero in the winter. In the summer, it can get as hot as 122 degrees Fahrenheit. So what is the reason that the Gobi Desert doesn't have sand? Well, it tells us here that heavy winds whip through there. So the wind, if there was any sand there, the wind would just be blowing all the sand out of there. So the heavy winds go through, and that's the reason there's no sand there. Okay, for your assignment today, you are going to be going into Canvas. And when you get there, it's going to look like this. You're going to click your homeroom. Then you're going to click reading. You will click today's day, which is Thursday. And it's going to take you to your module. Your module today is going to have a passage. And I'm going to read this out loud right now. And then you're going to answer these questions. The code word for today's video is going to be peanut. All right. Let's read this. How hell happens. Some words that we need to know. As you read, look inside, around, and beyond this word to figure out what it means. Conditions. A soft rain is falling on the roof. You smile. Suddenly the sound gets louder. It sounds like golf balls are bouncing off the roof. You race to the window. Outside, round balls of ice cover the ground. It's hailing. How did the rain turn into hard hail in a matter of seconds? Inside a storm cloud. It actually takes longer than a few seconds for hail to form. It all starts with the storm cloud. Storm clouds are made of water droplets. Large storm clouds are very wide and very tall. At the top, air is much colder than it is lower down. Raindrops start to form at the bottom of the cloud where it is warmer. Journey of a raindrop. As the winds move the storm cloud, it also moves some of the raindrops inside of it. Some of the raindrops move up towards the top of the cloud. If the raindrops meet very cold air there, then they turn to ice. These new ice drops get heavier. As a result, they fall to the ground as hailstones. So this is the effect of the raindrops getting heavier. Let's look at this. It says wind blows the raindrops up to colder level of the cloud. Raindrops freeze and become hailstones. Clear and cloudy hail. Some hail is very clear. Other hail looks like pieces of white chalk. When the hailstone is clear, it is because there's a little air in it. That happens when the raindrops freeze slowly. Then the air bubbles in the water have time to escape. Milky-looking hailstones have small air bubbles. That happens when the air at the top of the cloud is super cold. That cold air turns the raindrops into ice right away. The air bubbles are trapped inside. Hailstones of every shape and size. Sometimes, strong winds move up through a cloud. The wind can pick up the falling hailstones and push them back up at the top. At the top, the hailstones meet the cold air again. There they get a new coat of ice. In a strong thunderstorm, that can happen several times. When you look carefully at a hailstone, you may see some rings. Each ring is one layer of ice. If you count the rings, then you'll know how many times the hailstone has made a trip to the top of a cloud. This up and down movement causes hailstones to have a very unusual shapes. It also makes hailstones bigger. Some hailstones can be the size of a pebble. Other hailstones can be larger than a baseball. Next time you see hail on the lawn, pick some up and look at it closely. It may have quite a story to tell. All right, so here is the other part of the journey. Hailstones become larger and heavier, and then hailstones fall to the ground. So you have 8 questions to answer. 7 of the questions are from the text. Let's pay attention to this question, for example. This question is worth a lot of points because each of these is a part of a question. So you're going to read the cause and you're going to select the effect. Each of these can be found in the text. Now, this one, for example, you're going to click 3 answers. Don't just click 1. If you click 1 or you only click 2, it's going to count it. It's not going to give you the full points. And then this last one, today's code word is, remember, it's peanuts. After you're finished, click submit and you will have a grade. But before you start reading, I want to show you what a hailstone looks like, because not everyone has seen hail in their life. So this is what a hailstone could look like. They're just pebbles of ice that fall from the sky. That one's pretty big. Others can be very tiny. All right, boys and girls. Make sure you answer all of the questions to the best of your ability. Have a great day, and you'll hear from me tomorrow. Bye.